Alright, so we are move on to the still week 5. So this is the second part because I have to split the video itself. Alright, so the purpose of subject cataloging is to provide access by subject to all relevant materials. Okay, so bring together all referred in one subject matters, provide entries at any levels of analysis, and also provide a formal description of the subject content of the item. In other words, okay, subject cataloging is a process of providing subject access point to catalog records. So the process of assigning subject heading to materials being cataloged. So the importance of subject cataloging are it helps in determining subject content when the title of the work does not completely indicates what the material is all about. Okay, so it provides access to all relevant materials by the subject. So when you search through subject, so it will helps you to connecting you with the other relevant materials. That is what it's all about. Okay. So it brings together all reference to material on the same subject. It shows subject field affiliation and it provides a formal description of subject content. So this is the example of catalog record with subject. This one is the subject headings. Okay, so subject access one here. This one is the descriptive cataloging. Okay, so this one is the subject heading parts. And next is classification. Is the act of organizing universe of catalog knowledge into systematic order. Broadly defined, it is the act of organizing universe of knowledge into systematic order. So this systematic arrangement by subject or books and other materials on shelf or of catalog and index entries in the manner which is most useful to those who read or who seek a definite piece of information. So classification is determine a classification number of an item which represent the subject of the work in a number and or a letter and provide a location of an item in the collection. So there are a few level classification, okay, which is library classification. Okay, we look at on the library classification first. Alright, so systematic arrangement by subject of books and other material on shelf or of catalog and index entries in the manner which is most useful to those who read or who seek a definite piece of information. Okay, and then it's is a subject of the work, okay, in a number or letter and provide a location for an item, the same one with the previous one. So materials, okay, in the library may be classified by format, alright, which is books, serials, reference, audiovisual, fiction, non-fiction, and so on. Or by using use, okay, which is children, adults, okay, and also foreign language, and also subject or topics. So the objective is to help the user to identify and locate a work through a call number. So we already used the call number to classify the material. So how we are going to put it in the shelf, for example. Alright, so we group it together with all kind of the materials lah. Okay. So classification, the basic concept of classification is a knowledge as a whole are divided into successive stages of classes and subclass, which are chosen characteristic for each stage. For example, okay, we want to talk about cats. So cats might relate with the mammals, zoology, and also science. So science is the main course or main subject for the cats, right? Even cat is just specific object here. Oh, sorry, specific. What we call as an object, right? Kita panggil dia as an object lah, right? So cats, okay. So if you want to find the information about cats, so we're gonna have to go through by using the science. It's grouped under science. That's what it means. Alright. So classification process begins by determining the subject content. Okay. Identify the principal concept in the work under consideration and use the specific subfield or numbers available. That's all. It's okay for you not to understand because there is no materials here for me to show to you. But later on, we are going to look at one by one what this is all about. Right? Organization of material in archive. Okay, so what kind of archive materials? Okay, how to organize it and what tools to be used to organize it. Okay. So materials in archive usually consist of unique items. Unlike library, cannot take advantage of standardized organization. Okay, because the materials in archive, it depends on the organization itself. So we cannot have a really standardized organization compared to the library. Okay, so archive preserve records of enduring value. This may be organizational or personal records. They are not necessarily old and may come in different format. Unlike library, archival material are arranged and described in groups. Okay, so defining the records and archive materials. Okay, for records, it's a books, it might be papers, it might be maps or photos or other documentary materials regardless of format. It is made or received by any public or private institution in undertaking of its obligation or in connection with the transaction of its proposed business and preserved by the institution as evidence of its function, operation or other activities or because of the informational value contained therein. So archive materials, okay, those records of any public or private institution. Remember, there are two types of archive, which is public and private. All right, which are judged worthy of preservation for reference and research purposes, and which have to deposited or have been selected for deposit in an archival institution. So how to process materials in archive? Appraise, acquire and acquisition, arrangement, description, and the last one is preservation. So appraise, okay, in an archival context, appraisal is a process of determining whether records and other materials have permanent archival value. Alright, so maybe done at the collection or the creator, series, file or item level. So can take place prior to donation and prior to physical transfer and at or after accessioning. And then is the process of identifying and acquiring. Okay, so by donation or purchase, either one, historical materials from source outside of the archival institution. So we can just know that we just noted that archival collection might be come from the process of donation or purchase. Okay, the historical materials. Right. So the value of record for the ongoing business of the agency of records creation or its successor in function. And then arrangement, variety, the only constant. We use provenance, original order, level, physical or intellectual order. Alright, for variety, the only constant, collection vary greatly in size, okay, format and complexity. For provenance, information regarding origin and custody of items or collection. So maintain relationship between records and individual, family or organization that created, accumulated or maintain them in conduct of activities. So records should be maintained according to their origin and not intermingled with those of other provenance. Okay, we cannot jumble up everything. Okay, it depends on the origin. So how the first physical parts of the record itself. And then the third one is original order, important in theory but often violated in practice. Okay, materials should be kept in the order in which they were originally created, maintained or used. However, materials often come to archive in no usable order. This is the reality that we have. The archive in Malaysia have to face it. So levels is a collection, series and sub-series. Okay, series often determined by subject, function or form. Within a series, filing system, chronological, okay, geographical or alphabetical, etc. It depends, okay, on the way of determining how they are going to organize it. Okay. And the next arrangement is intellectual versus physical order. One intellectual series could include all materials on a selected topic. However, those materials could be papers, book, maps or photographs. Alright, this complicates retrieval as well as arrangement and description. So the description is a process of creating tools that facilitate access and improve security by creating records of collections and minimizing handling of originals. Okay, so this is one. We use the ACS, describing archive or content standard. Some of the element addressed by the ACS is require element for different level of description, minimum, optimum or added value, title formation, form of names and elements, and example of biographies and collection overviews, and much more. Alright, so this is how we are going to describe the material itself. So collection are described from general to specific, starting with the whole, then proceeding to components are the series, sub-series, folder, and items. Okay, use describe such as the ACS. This is the one, right, that we are going to use how to describe the records in the archive, and also methods, database tracking, finding aids, and also catalog records. And the last one is a preservation for the archive. It's a crucial element in the whole operation of a record program. So the aim of archival preservation is to prolong the useful life. Prolong the useful life of useful research information in two ways. The first one, preventive preservation seeks to reduce risk of damage and to slow down the rate of deterioration. Right? So this aim is usually accomplished by selecting good quality materials and by providing suitable storage environment and safe handling procedure. Secondly, prescriptive preservation is a means of identifying and treating or copying damaged materials to restore useful access to the information. So this is how archive doing the preservation process. Why they use? Because they want to slow down, all right, the rate of deterioration. They want to slow down. They want to ensure that that record can be accessed in more times in the future. Okay, enough with the archive. We move to the museum. So what are the museum material? This one you are going to you ask yourself, okay, what is the museum materials? Okay, how to organize. So museum is a museum. Materials in museum, are related closely according to the types of museum. Alright, so cultural heritage collection require a great deal of care and protection in order to ensure their safety from external loss or damage, but they also require in-depth documentation to assist in tracking the life of the object within the holding institution. So to accommodate these needs, collectors adhere to collection management and collection care standards and practice, which serve to create a safe environment for collection objects with clear and precise accompanying documentation. So where collection care address to physical action necessary to prevent or delay damage of cultural heritage. Okay, so collection management can be defined as a process of information gathering, communication, coordination, policy formulation, evaluation, and planning. Okay, this process influence decision about records management and the collection policies, which outline protocols for the collection scope, collection care, and emergency planning and response. Although materials collection may be very different from one another in content, they share other similar characteristics. They all contain large number of individual items, many different kinds of objects, specimens, artwork, documents, and artifacts, and all are representative of the natural, cultural, and scientific heritage. Specifically, many museum collections are large and complicated because one item is differ from another items. Alright, so how they are going to classify that kind of material is depend on the item itself. So it's totally different with the library and also archive environment. I think I better should stop now for this part. So see you next week. Thank you.